You know what it is, man. First round's over. Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, and dude, it's World War Three. It's World War Three, bro. People were freaking out when Russia invaded Ukraine. Check out Lions Twitter for just an hour. Just fucking skim through it. There's people at each other's throats. We got people getting stabbed in the back. Et tu, Brute? Not on the steps. I mean, it is fucking mayhem. It's Assassin's Creed 10, the Detroit Lions edition on Lions Twitter in the Lions fan base. It's nuts, bro. It's nuts. Both picks. The Jahmyr Gibbs pick really got the people going. That was throwing a fucking match into a firework basin. People don't like running backs in the first round, apparently. They definitely don't like running backs at 12. And they certainly don't like running backs at 12 after the best running back in the draft has gotten taken, even though he can't run routes like Jahmyr Gibbs. But they won't admit that. They won't tell you that. They don't want to acknowledge that. Jack Campbell. People don't like, even though the Detroit Lions haven't had a stud middle linebacker since, I don't know, DeAndre Levy, what was that, 2013 or so? Even though every single year on a Sunday you can log into Twitter and see person after person bitching about the linebacker play, they don't like that the Lions went out and got Jack Campbell, a guy who's a captain of the defense. He's a leader on the field, tough-nosed guy. He gave a quote after he got picked that goes, "The only thing that matters in Detroit is football, and the only thing that matters to me is football," or some shit like, and football's the only thing that matters. Some shit where it's like, dude, I don't know, start playing some Scrabble, solve a puzzle here and there. Like, Jack, I know it's your job now, but like, we got to get you away from the game a little bit. We got a guy like that, a Dan Campbell guy, coach on the field, freak human being. I think he'd stop a 16-wheeler in its tracks. Oh, by the way, he's the sixth most athletic linebacker, according to some NFL metric, since 1987. He blows Luke Kuechly's numbers out of the water as far as athletic speed, agility goes. Makes 30 tackles a game, and people are freaking out about him too. I don't know. I saw someone say this, and it might be the best way of putting it. There is nothing that this franchise can do for a certain faction of the fan base. There's nothing that this franchise can do that would make them happy. For a certain crowd amongst us, amongst the Detroit Lions fans, for a certain crowd, the Detroit Lions could go and win the Super Bowl this year, and those people would have something to complain about. They'd tell you why the Lions screwed up. They'd tell you how it wasn't actually as good as it seems. They'd tell you what it means to be a Lions fan and why it's always been this way and why it'll never change, even though they just won the Super Bowl. They would dig up some shit that makes no sense to anybody but them, and they'd peddle it to you, and they'd feed it to you, and they'd try to shove it down your throat because I guess they're miserable. Because I guess they've been stuck in the same way of thinking for too long that now they just can't change. Because they like unhappiness. I don't know what it is. Because they like to potentially be right about negative things. Why don't you be right about a positive thing? What if Jahmyr Gibbs has like 1,200 yards this year, 10 touchdowns, and we win the NFC North? Best Lions season in 30 years. Guy plays a massive part. Who knows what happens if we don't go take him? Why not think about it like that? Why not be right about that possibility as opposed to Jahmyr Gibbs, he could have 1,000 yards and it won't matter because we won't win the Super Bowl anyway. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I get it. Like, I get why people are upset. I was upset that the Lions took a running back. I wouldn't have done it. Even still, right now, I would have preferred they took a different position than running back. I understand the frustration. We've seen the data. We've seen the trials. Running backs don't win you championships. You don't need a stud running back to win the Super Bowl. Okay, I hear you. Fair enough. But here's a few things. Number one, DeAndre Swift is not going to be on the team anymore. We're going to save money on whatever contract DeAndre Swift would have wanted. And I would assume, don't know DeAndre, although I did play basketball with him one time at LA Fitness, and he told me to keep shooting after I missed the three. So he's my fucking guy, no matter what happens to him. DeAndre Swift, I assume, is going to want a fairly decent chunk of change. He's a guy who can't stay on the field. Although he is electric, when he's healthy, he's unreal. We saw it on full display last year. Running backs, you don't want to pay him. We've got an either just as, if not more, electric guy in Jahmyr Gibbs, a guy who will be a better pass catcher, a guy who is going to take a lot of snaps, not in the backfield, but in the slot, maybe lined up across from a guy named Amon-Ra St. Brown. Good luck defending that shit And God forbid when Jamison Williams comes back, we got a guy to replace him. We're going to save money. This guy might be better than the previous. And people are freaking out. People refuse to acknowledge. What if we use that DeAndre Swift cap space now and we go get a defensive lineman? We go get a fourth corner. We go get a linebacker. We can go get anything we fucking want. A wide receiver, you name it. We're going to have a little bit more cash to play with. This isn't just, oh, let's take the running back. It's Swift's going to go. We're going to save money. This guy might be better anyway. And he's not just a running back. He's a slot receiver, utility guy that can do all kinds of things. If Jahmyr Gibbs becomes Alvin Kamara, which that's his comp, that's his play style, that's what he brings to the table. If he becomes Alvin Kamara, bingo, they nailed it. And there's still going to be people. Justin Spiro, who I like. You guys may know him. If you know me, you probably do. Justin Spiro, freaking out on Twitter over this Gibbs pick. And he's going, even if Jahmyr Gibbs is Alvin Kamara, it won't matter unless we win the Super Bowl and he plays a crucial role. I don't understand that logic, because can't that be applied to anything? Like Penei Sewell up until this point, I think even anybody you ask in the Lions fan base would say, Penei Sewell, what a pick he's been. He has been absolutely unfucking believable for the Detroit Lions. Didn't miss even an inch. I think everybody would admit that, and if they don't, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You're the darkest depths, the most Golemy Schmiegel of all those Lions fans that'll never be happy. Penei Sewell, 6th overall pick, 5th, whatever it was. If we don't win a Super Bowl with Penei Sewell, is that a failure? Like, I don't get that. Unless Jahmyr Gibbs plays a crucial role in a Super Bowl title, that was the waste of a pick. If Penei never wins one here, was he a waste of a pick? If Aiden Hutchinson, if we don't win a Super Bowl with Hutch, he was the 2nd pick. You better win a Super Bowl with that guy. Like, is that the barometer? If we don't win a Super Bowl with him playing a part, it was useless. That's the barometer. I get it. The running backs, they don't play the biggest role. It's not a defensive end. It's not a quarterback. It's not a left tackle. I understand. But to make that the bar, to make that the standard of if they don't win a Super Bowl, then it's a useless pick, that makes no sense, because you could say that for literally any single player who's ever been drafted high in an NFL draft. You could, what are we doing here if that's going to be the bar? And why the fuck, by the way, would that be the bar for the Detroit Lions? For a team who hasn't won a playoff game in 30 years, why the fuck would the bar be, if you don't win a Super Bowl, that was a terrible pick? What, bro? What? What's up? Dude, if the Lions win the NFC North this year, it'll be the best season this franchise has seen in my entire lifetime. Don't tell me about how if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure. This franchise, if we win one... Forget winning a playoff game. Forget winning it. If we host one playoff game, it is far and away the most successful season this franchise has seen in 30 fucking years. Do you understand that? Why is the Super Bowl the metric? Why the fuck would that be the case? Are you kidding me? Not only is it dumb because of what I mentioned previously, any player that's drafted high you could put under that same subjectivity, whatever the word is. But the Lions needing to make the Super Bowl or it's a failure? What the fuck? How about let's try winning a division once? How about let's try that, and then maybe that's a success. And then next year, okay, let's win a playoff game. Hey, maybe that's a success. Super Bowl, that's fucking crazy. We're talking about the Detroit Lions here. I love us to death. I'm not one of those pessimistic same old Lions losers. That's not me. But we are the Detroit Lions. A Super Bowl championship. Let's host one playoff game in the state of Michigan. One. Let's do that one fucking time. Let's do that before I have a kid. Right? Let's make that the measure of success. And then once we do that once, God forbid we do it another time, then we can start talking about how if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure. If we don't win the Super Bowl, maybe we shouldn't have taken Gibbs. If we don't win the Super Bowl, maybe changes need to be made. Then we can get to that conversation. How are you going to climb Mount Everest if you've never even seen the first fucking base camp, right? It's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy thing to say. Now, like I said, I hear you if you're upset with the pick. I wouldn't have gone running back. I get it. The running backs aren't valuable, whatever the case is. Whoever you wanted the Lions to take, this is the other thing that drives me fucking crazy. about the NFL draft. You could have gotten this guy. You could have done that guy. Should have taken this guy. We don't know who. We don't know anything. Bryce Young was the first overall pick. He may be a nobody in 3 years. Everybody talking Jalen Carter. He might be 40 pounds overweight week 1. Everybody, you should have done this. You could have got that guy. We don't fucking know who's going to be good and who won't be. So can we just relax a little bit on what a shit pick? What's Brad Holmes thinking? We just lit the 12th pick on fire. Same old lines. Can we just give it a chance? These same people who are running around yelling bloody murder about Jahmyr Gibbs, there were people talking about Penei Sewell. Oh, offensive tackle. Oh, he's a little undersized. People talking about Aiden Hutchinson. We only took him that high because he went to Michigan and the Heisman hype and the hometown kid. I bet you it was the same fucking people. Maybe there's more of them this time around, but there were people like that, and I bet it's the same motherfuckers who are naysaying Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, and Brad Holmes right now. I guarantee you. Where the fuck are they now when you mention Aiden Hutchinson's name? I don't hear a peep when anybody talks about Penei Sewell. Yeah, they're both great. They both have been very good. Aiden Hutchinson had a great rookie year. Penei Sewell's been good both of his. They've been awesome. Brad Holmes did his fucking job, and he did it well. There were people at that time questioning him. There were people at that time, you should have done this. There were people, you just passed on that. There were people doing the same bullshit they're doing right now. And I don't know. Probably not. Jahmyr Gibbs probably won't affect a game the same way an Aiden Hutchinson does. He probably won't lead to as many wins as a Penei Sewell does. Probably not. He could, but probably not. He wasn't the 6th pick. He wasn't the 2nd pick. He was the 12th pick. Jamison Williams is out 6 games. Another little weapon there to throw in his absence. Another toy for Ben Johnson to scheme up. Jahmyr Gibbs on a linebacker. No one's fucking covering him. Put a safety on him. I dare you. Be in the nickel. We'll run it down your fucking face. Amon-Ra and Jahmyr both in the slot. You can't cover both of them. You cannot. You cannot cover both of those guys. He's got speed. He can go right by you. It's not like he's only going to be running 5-yard out routes and swings. He can go right fucking by you. Slant and go. See ya, nerd. Go watch the guy's highlight tape. Every other play is an 80-yard touchdown. Go watch him run down the fucking sidelines. There's guys with angles that they dream about. Aristotle was jerking off to him, and they don't catch him. He's that fucking fast. So can we pump the brakes on what a failure, same old Lions? How could you do this when that guy was available? Because I got a lot of tweets saying, Joey Porter was there. You could have gotten Jahmyr later. Yeah, sure, he'll be a good player, but you could have gotten him later. Joey Porter. You got to take the corner. Take Porter. That's interesting. That's interesting how many people were saying something along those lines. Fascinating, really, because after the fact, Brad Holmes says when they made the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, he got multiple texts from other NFL GMs saying, great pick, we were coming for his ass. Didn't think he'd be there all the way at 18. I would assume after you've made the pick, so there's no reason to bluff, nothing else, GMs are texting you multiple saying, great pick, we wanted him. I would assume that means those guys probably had their eyes on Jahmyr Gibbs. When that many people all have the same thought, it's not always a good thing, right? But Brad Holmes isn't out on some island, Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of people fucking wanted him. He didn't think he'd fall 6 more spots. Probably because he's a dangerous weapon in the passing game. Probably because he's fucking electric when the ball's in his hands. Probably because there's other guys with veteran running backs that have been great, but they don't want to pay him and they want the new fresh legs. Probably a few reasons. And wouldn't you know it, first round ended. We're going to start off with the 32nd pick, 31st tomorrow. 32nd, I believe, or 33rd. I don't know. I can't fucking remember. We're going to start off with the 32nd pick, let's say, tomorrow. Lions are at 34, and guess who's still on the board? that Brad Holmes, man, he must be some kind of dumb. Joey Porter's still on the board, so you can still get Joey Porter. You shouldn't have taken Jahmyr Gibbs. He'd be there later. Take Porter now. They took Gibbs. Doesn't seem like he would have been there, and guess who is? But the same people sitting on their couch drinking their third fucking Bud Heavy because they're disgusting are running their fingers all over the keyboard talking about how Brad Holmes doesn't know what he's doing. Talking about the guy who's built the team that we know it today doesn't know what he's doing. Talking about the guy who flipped us into 9-8 last year doesn't know what he's doing. These same fucking people, dude. These same people, I guarantee you, were J.O.ing Brad Holmes at the end of that Green Bay game last year. I fucking guarantee it. I guarantee it. 3 hours ago, those same people, I'm recording it after the draft, 3 hours ago, those same people were running around. In Brad we trust. In Brad we trust. We got the best GM in the NFL, firing off that tweet where it's Brad Holmes coming out from behind the ledge. I guarantee you, all of those people, whatever Brad does, I trust him. Brad's great. Whatever Brad wants. He makes one pick that the guy flipping through television doesn't agree with, and now he's an idiot, and now he doesn't know what he's doing, and now it's same old Lions. How the fuck does that happen? How does your brain work like that? Where is the logic? Where is the A to B connection, dude? Where is the synapse? How do you tie your goddamn shoes in the morning? I don't understand it. Like, can we just give him a chance? I think the Jack Campbell pick is much, much more apparent, or makes much more sense. Much easier to defend. Sixth most athletic linebacker since 1987. That kind of speaks for itself. And he's fucking huge. That kind of speaks for itself. He's going to be able to call plays. He's going to be a leader of the defense. He will stop the run. He's fair. He's decent. I mean, he's athletic as fuck. He's as good as it's going to get in pass coverage. I was saying this too. People going, oh, he's not a modern day linebacker. Can't run with receivers. What linebackers, outside of three, what linebackers successfully run with wide receivers? Right? What linebackers are locked down in coverage? Is there one? Darius Leonard? Is there one where it's don't fucking Justin Jefferson, we're going to throw our linebacker on him? Is there one guy that's you can't do shit on him when you throw the ball? I don't even know if there's one. Linebackers, you're fucked. Sorry. Unless you're playing a zone and they throw it to you over the middle, maybe zone something you can get better at. Instead of staring at the QB, look around, see who you can cover. Instead of covering grass, go get a jersey. Yeah, zone's something you can improve on. If you're going to put any linebacker in the league on Jahmyr Gibbs, for instance, in the slot one-on-one, he's going to get fucking cooked. Your only hope is a sack or a bad throw. He's going to get fucking cooked. Yeah, Jack Campbell may not be the Darrelle Revis of linebackers. He's going to stop the run. He's going to know where to be each and every single play. He's a guy who's going to watch film. He's a physical mass of humanity. He's going to do good things. He's going to build the culture. He's going to fit right in with what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are trying to build, not only on the field, but in the locker room. Yeah, he's probably going to get toasted if Justin Jefferson lines up in the slot. So is every other linebacker in the draft. Nolan Smith is not running with Justin Jefferson. Nobody is. And again, I mentioned it in the beginning. How fucking much do we complain about linebackers during these Lions games? How much? You scroll down the Anzalone this, Derek Barnes that. How much and for how long have we been shouting at the clouds, begging the Detroit Lions to go get a legit linebacker, to begging the Lions to go get a guy like Jack Campbell that's all over the field, a guy who somehow makes 20 plays a game, somehow. It's because he knows guard pulls, plays going here. I've seen this formation, they're going there. He fucking knows. He's got the speed to make the play when it happens, and if you throw a blocker in his way, he's strong enough to put him in the fucking dirt. How long have we been wanting a guy like that? How badly has our defense missed that? We rebuilt the defensive line last year. The front four is going to be good again. We still got those guys, James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson, Zach Pascal, Josh Pascal. I don't know why I always say Zach, dude. We've got some guys, hopefully on Zawerki, Aleem McNeil. We've got some guys up front, Aquaras. Now let's build the next level. Got Malcolm Rodriguez last year. He's a good player. He's going to be good again this year. We got Anzalone. He's fine. All right, let's throw in this Jack Campbell dude, a guy who's just all over, a guy who makes plays, a guy who loves football, who knows football, who's just in the right spot, a fucking football player. How is that going to hurt? Oh, we should have gotten a corner. Joey Porter's still there. You clown. We just signed 3 of them. in free agency. Everybody talk like we got to upgrade the defense. Okay. I think 34, they'll probably go Porter. 38, we'll probably go an interior defensive lineman. Boom. And we'll still have money left over in free agency. DeAndre Swift's money, because we took Jahmyr Gibbs. We can go get another interior guy. We can go get another secondary player. We can go get whatever the fuck we want. I just don't see how this many people are this upset with the way they went. I get the running back thing. That, like, I'll give you that. Jack Campbell, I don't know how anyone's upset about that. Look at the athletic matrix. It's elite speed, elite physicality, elite size. Like, it's just elite. Like, the guy's a fucking menace. And there's no baggage. There is no, was he going to watch film? Yeah, dude, you're going to have to pry him away from watching film. Is he going to hit the weights? You're going to have to hide his fucking protein shakes. There is nothing to worry about. He's going to be a perfect fit. And he's a savage of a football player. Jack Campbell, I don't get anybody who's complaining about him. I get the Jahmyr thing. I get the running back thing. But if he's Brad Holmes and Dad Campbell's guy, I just don't know what we as fans right now, like what leg do we have to stand on as far as discrediting them goes. You know what I mean? Like, from what they've did, from what Brad Holmes took over roster-wise, and what he's done through the draft, making trades, building the roster back, where as Lions fans are people like, I don't know about this guy. Where did he give you the right to question him? Where did he misstep that had you going, I don't know if he actually does know what he's doing? Where did that happen? Because as 5 p.m. Pacific time today, everybody and their mother loved Brad Holmes. You go to the fucking hospice unit at Henry Ford, 50% of the patients are going, I love Brad Holmes. Tell him if I die, tell him I said he's the best. Everybody was in on Brad Holmes. 2 picks go by. He goes and picks up 2 guys that are going to be big-time contributors, that are going to be guys that play a bunch, that are going to be guys that upgrade our team, and everyone's losing their fucking mind in a year where I feel like most people, or at least most fans, we've kind of agreed we're fucking going for it this year. Aaron Rodgers is gone. The Bears they'll be better, but they shouldn't be that good. Minnesota, let's fucking go for it. The NFC in general is pretty weak. Let's fucking go do something this year. He's going and doing something. He's putting on the finishing touches, dude. He's rounding out the roster, and we still have 3 more picks in the top 60. Like, I just don't understand how people are that frustrated. It'd be one thing, like, if Brad Holmes had swung big and missed big already. It'd be another thing if Brad Holmes had traded back in a draft before and it just did not fucking work. It'd be one thing that if I've seen a reaction video like we saw tonight, the War Room, they put in the Jahmyr Gibbs, he damn near breaks his table, his hand, and Rod Wood's face. It'd be one thing if I've seen one of those videos in the last 2 years and the guy that they were celebrating turned into a nothing. Like, there are some alternate universes where, okay, I get it. Throw your tantrum. I understand. Who are you? Who am I? Who are any of us to look at Brad Holmes at this point in the rebuild, at this point in his tenure, and say, he's not as smart as I am. He's not as smart as I am. I have a fucking gallon of cheese balls. He's not as smart as I am. How could anybody get there? How could anybody get there? I just don't know. I'm willing to hear them out. I'm willing to see what we do tomorrow. I'm willing to let the plan unfold. You know what I mean? Like, these guys aren't just fucking picking names out of a hat. They have an idea of what they want to do. There's a strategy. There's a thought behind this. Like, it's been carefully planned. There is a method to the madness. And if you're saying, let's go best available player, just go get the best talent. Maybe they thought Jahmyr Gibbs was the best talent. Even if you don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is the best talent available at that spot, they went and got a guy who they know they will be able to use immediately. Went and got a guy who is going to help us win games immediately. They didn't go get some guy that's going to be on the second defensive unit. They didn't go get some guy that he'll sit behind Goff. Like, they got someone that's going to help immediately, that will have a easy time. Running back, I don't know many positions easier to just slot in and, like, be a fucking savage. You just do cool shit when you get the ball. Remember the playbook, and when you get the ball, make people miss. Like, it's a very, very adaptable position from college to the pros. Linebacker, a little more tricky. You got to read this, you got to read that, you got to learn the playbook, call the plays, all that stuff. Linebacker may be a little more tricky, but there's more of a depth. There's more of a gap at linebacker. There's a bigger hole to be filled for Jack Campbell. I just don't know. They could very well get Joey Porter at 34, and all those fucking people complaining about Jahmyr Gibbs saying take Porter. You were wrong. You were dead ass wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs wouldn't have been there later. Joey Porter was there later. You're dead fucking wrong. What are you going to say now? I just don't. Oh, I just can't do the Lions fans, quote unquote, because they're fucking losers who want to crucify everything. I get it if you're frustrated. I get it if you're saying, well, hold on a second. I don't get it if you're saying Brad Holmes doesn't know what he's doing. Same old Lions. This franchise is never going to get any better. I don't get it. If you're going, we shouldn't have taken a running back. We should have gone defensive line. All right. If you're going, running backs don't impact winning that much. All right. If you're going, Brad Holmes doesn't know what he's doing. The Lions stink. I can't. You and me are too different. We're too different of people to hang out. I just can't get on board with that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you know how bad we were when these guys took this roster over? Do you know how good we're going to be next year? We're not going to go 17-0. It's going to be the best fucking Lions team we've had in ages, dude. Do you know how much the talent level in Detroit has changed since the day these guys started their jobs? But now we want to freak out. Now we want to throw them under the bus. Now we want to fire off 10 tweets in an hour talking about how I know what the Lions should have done and they don't. Like, what's going on? What are we doing? Trust the fucking guy. Trust the guy who got us to beat Green Bay twice in a season. Trust the guy who had us playing for a playoff spot on week 17 last year. Trust the guy who's making Jared Goff look like a damn good fucking quarterback. Trust the guy who hasn't missed talent-wise as a football player on any of his first-round picks. Yeah, Jamison Williams, yes. It sucks that he has an unfortunate brain problem. It sucks that there's no treatment for it. When he has played, the few times he has gotten the ball, he's been fucking electric. He looks like a game breaker. He looks like a guy that Brad Holmes went up and took in the mid-first round, and other coaches, other teams are looking around going, fuck me, how did he fall out of the top 10? He looks like a guy that when he does play, and he is in there all snaps, he's going to change the way defenses defend. He's going to change the way our offense looks. He's going to change the number of points we score on a regular basis. The dude's hit it every time. Every single one of them has been a good football player. And when they have taken guys in, when they have cut or kept or signed or traded people, and they talk about our guy, they talk about the mentality, the culture, does he fit in? They've been right about that shit too. They were saying that about Hutchinson. He's our kind of guy. He's a football guy. He's got the motor. People were shitting all over him. It's because he's the hometown kid. Oh, he's got the motor. He's too small. He's not a good enough player. Aiden Hutchinson was a fucking dog, so you can eat me. He was right about that shit too. Yeah, I would have been happy with Jalen Carter at 6. If they didn't like him, they didn't like him. If they thought he was going to fuck up the good thing they had going, then why risk it? We're going to get an interior lineman. Make no mistake. We are going to get an interior lineman. We didn't desperately need a superstar interior lineman. We didn't. Everybody could use one, obviously. We didn't desperately need it. If you're kind of iffy on, does this guy care that much? Is he going to bust his ass? Is he going to fit in? Is he going to fuck up this thing we've spent the last 2 years building? If you're a little iffy on that, I don't blame you. Go and get your guy. You saw how excited they were. They went up, they got him. GM's texting them, they got their guy. We have, as fans, we are in no position to sit here and run out the same tired bullshit, same old Lions routine when Brad Holmes believes deep in his soul that they got their 2 guys tonight. We've got no room to poo-poo it. Sure, you can be a little upset they took a running back instead of a different position of need. Sure, you can say running backs don't impact winning as much. Fine. To crucify the pick, to crucify Brad Holmes, to do the same old Lions, it's never going to change routine. It's so nearsighted and pessimistic and just fucking gross because it's the same people who are going to be on their feet with their mask on, clapping like they knew it all along when he goes for 100 and a touchdown in week 1. Oh, if you don't win a Super Bowl, it's a useless pick. What, dude? That's so everybody. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't win a Super Bowl, that was a dumb pick by the Jags. That's all I got, folks. Appreciate everybody listening. We'll see you next week.